Tommy Walsh, grab that microphone.
How are you doing, Tommy?
The 2025 Munster final has ended, and as you can tell, Cork are champions after penalties.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's like being at a concert, Tommy. Like, look out there, like they're singing, they're chanting, they're dancing. It's unbelievable scenes here in the Gaelic Grounds. It looked like Limerick were going to pull away in, say, normal time. Cork came back, extra time. It went against them with the toss because they lost it, and Limerick went with the wind. I thought myself then that was kind of advantage Limerick, but they stuck in, they fought all day long, and to beat the 6-0 Munster Champions is an amazing feat. And you can see him now, champion is like, there is no better feeling. If you're from Cork, especially if you're a Cork player or manager, someone that had a big impact on today, and what a day it is for Cork.
Absolutely remarkable stuff. Like, from the 16-point defeat 3 weeks ago, totally wiped out, to what we saw today. But we knew straight away, Tommy, that Cork were a different side today.
I know where, because they scored straight away after about 20 seconds. Patrick Horgan, he was taken off, but he still scored 4 points from play. All day long, different guys were stepping up at different stages. Healy and Barish in the first half were brilliant. I thought the two Downies finished so strong. At the end of the day, when the game is in the melting pot, sometimes their tactics and game plans go out the window. You just have to be able to win the ball. And the two Downies were down there, they were catching balls with probably one of the greatest teams to win their own ball against Limerick. Like, they weren't playing against guys that are only starting off or guys that have no experience. So to do it against the best gives you even more satisfaction. The only thing, it comes out to penalties. It doesn't matter to Cork here now, but penalties are horrendous, Tommy. I hate them. Like, the only good thing was 3 players from Limerick missed. So at least there won't be one lad wonder, 3 lads. And I saw John Kiley give him a team talk before the penalties. It was like he said, listen lads, doesn't really matter. There's no responsibility on anyone really here now. He did everything.
Yeah. God, that game had everything. It even had the referee cramping up, and like a totally different referee coming into extra time. It was madness.
Yeah, he refereed it totally different. Like, we were wondering, was there even a referee in the first part of the game? But Thomas Welch, he added to the whole thing. He was brilliant. Absolutely, a hurling man's referee. Listen, if there was dangerous play, fair enough. Cut it out, call the freeze. But there were just kind of small, little niggly things, and there was no advantage to anyone because he wasn't calling, many frees all day. But it was in the spirit of the game. Like, it was lovely to be part of. It really was. I know you'll have people giving out a free is a free, but it worked both ways, I felt, and he was outstanding. I felt sorry for him going off because this is a huge day for him to referee. Like, this is his big day, like a Munster final from Waterford. Probably training all his life to play in big days like this, and my God, he added to the whole occasion.
This is unbelievable down here, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose the vantage point we have here, like, I was there taking photographs there just to have them from maybe 10 years time, 15 years time to say we were here, like. And I remember Italian 90 when David O'Leary scored a goal against Romania. I was in my granny's kitchen watching away. It was unbelievable, but there was no emotions for me or you here today because we're neutrals. But it's fantastic to be able to maybe enjoy the occasion. And listen, Cork were the underdogs after getting beaten by 16 points the last day. It took some guts to come out here and do it.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought their subs.
Talk to me about that.
Their subs are unbelievable. Lahan, we kind of thought Lahan was nearly gone over the hill and maybe would he be on the panel this year. But obviously Pat Ryan, who has won a lot, he saw something in him that he still has it. He was phenomenal. Yeah. He was phenomenal when they needed him most. I thought Kingston, probably suffered more than anyone when his father was involved because would he be starting or would he not? But kind of Pat Ryan has seen he's better off coming on. And he came on, like, not on the scores, but he kind of flicked down 1 or 2 balls as well for the other Cork forwards when the game was in the melting pot. And look, it was just an insane game, really, to be honest.
It was absolutely mad. And like, when we were looking at the teams before the game, you were looking at Limerick's bench, and Declan Hannon comes in, he gets a point in extra time. The Bull O'Brien gets 1-2. I think he scores 1-1 in the second half to draw them level. Darragh O'Donovan puts them ahead in injury time. Casey gets a point. O'Neill gets a point. So it looks like Limerick had done a lot of things right. What went wrong for them today?
Yeah, I don't think that went wrong for them. It was just beaten by a team that probably, was penalty shootouts, really at the end of the day. So during normal gameplay it was equal, and to be honest, it felt like that. I felt different players stepped up at different times. You said, I always thought about the Cork subs, you were talking about the Limerick subs, they were brilliant. Darrow Donovan was super. I'd say you probably in John Kiley's interviews you'll probably hear about efficiency. Normally it's one of their KPIs, I would imagine, and probably weren't as efficient as they normally do be. And was that shot selection? I don't think so. It was a big win. It was kind of going from left to right, and it was just one of those days. Like if you look at my programme, I circle the subs. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 circles around the Limerick team, and probably something similar in the Cork team. Like even subs coming back on. Tom Morrissey came back on, and they brought Dermot Burns back on
for the penalties,
with time just up. And in fairness, he started Limerick off on a positive note with his penalty. It was clinical, and I did feel myself. I said to you, Tommy, I'd say an advantage to Limerick here now, because I looked at the penalty shoot takers. You had Hannon, you had Tom Morrissey, you had Galan, you had Burns,
Barry
Murphy. I just thought they were the better strikers maybe, but fairness to the Cork. Listen, the penalty shoot is a lottery.
Yeah.
Did anyone take it any better than the other? Who knows?
We wouldn't have complained about a replay, would we? Or maybe the Cork fans are happy enough with this.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be happy with it now, to be honest, Tommy, because I just feel for the people that miss the penalties. I just don't like it. No need for it. Play it again next week and maybe push it on another week then the next match, but there's no need for it.
Yeah, you can be sure they'd sell out Corky Grief next week if it was a draw. But Cork have ended their drought since 2018. The Cork captain Rob Downey wasn't fit to start, Tommy, but he comes on, he's giving a speech right now. He has a big impact when he comes in there too.
He did, and when he came on, and here he is about to lift the cup. Look at those foreseams, Tommy. To talk about maybe the value of the provincial championships many years ago. You can see it here today, you'll probably see it in Crow Park there tomorrow. It gives people so much joy to win championships. We used to have it in the clubs. You have a North Championship, you have a South Championship. Only one team can win the end one, which is either an All-Ireland final or a county final. Why not have a few of them so that so many more teams can share the joy? And the Cork people remember this, like they're Munster Champions, and many people are saying it's the second part of a trilogy. Kilkenny, Galway, Tipperary, and a few more will probably have more to say about that. And there it is. And listen, Rob Downey, Glen Rovers man. You had Tomás Mulcahy back in 1990. You had Christy Ring did it a couple of times. Jack Lynch, a very famous club with very lucky or famous captains. Guys you can't make tradition. Guys are used to doing it. He's used to seeing probably photographs of all his clubmen doing it, and now he's going to do it and bring it on for the next generation of young Cork players or young Glen Rovers players. I thought, if you going back to the game itself, in extra time, the likes of Hegarty and these guys who were so instrumental had to kind of maybe bow out through cramp. We saw Tom Silk cramp, a few more of them went off for cramp, but I thought Hegarty was sensational in the game. When the game was there to be won, winning frees, winning balls, scoring, setting them up. I thought the Bull was brilliant when he came on. He's a big target man. Get the ball into him. High, low, it didn't really matter. He's into win frees, scores. In the half-back line, you probably have to say Burns, Kyle Hayes and Barry Nash. You see, we're looking at him here from a lovely vantage point. They're being ran everywhere, so they probably didn't get the chance to get into their rhythm. I thought Dan Morrissey, brilliant again, full back. What a man.
Strong, isn't he?
Even when he's behind, he's able to flick it and keep the ball out in front of him. Sean Finn is back to his all-star hurler of the year kind of best. But for Cork, listen, this is where the heroes are. These are the guys who are the champions tonight. Mark Coleman, I thought he was sensational. Going forward, maybe taking ball up in the half-forward line, setting up scores, winning frees, and there weren't too many frees to be won.
No.
When Thomas was there, but they got on with it. Didn't see any players complaining. Didn't see any players kind of, they got used to it, and that's the way you do with the good players. Other than that, the full back line were probably, under pressure all day because two-man full forward line, but you'd have to say Sean O'Donoghue, Damien Cahalane. Fair play to Damien Cahalane. He gave away a free at the end, but
they had their moments. They did really well. They had their moments, where they got on top of, Galan. O'Donoghue had that little battle with Galan there at one stage where it looked like Galan was away from him when he flicks it, and Cahalane comes in. We were thinking the injuries, Tommy, coming into this game. The injuries might catch Cork. The 16-point gap was too much. Like, it had to be more than hard today. What else did they get right?
Well, you see, they have. We spoke before the game that possibly it was just a one-off. That they're 2 or 3 weeks ago, getting beaten by so much. Because this Cork team, every time they play Limerick, they believe in themselves. It's always a team that you believe you kind of can beat. And like, this is 3 times now in the last 4. So I would say a lot of it goes back to your inner belief. Like, you can have psychologists all you want telling you about positive and being positive and thinking about the next ball and that, but you really, that'll get you to the first time. But after that, you can only rely on experience. So when you're the last 10 minutes of the game, you're not really doubting. You're saying to yourselves, we've done this before. Remember the last time Rob Downey caught a ball? Remember Mark Coleman came out with a ball? Remember Shane Barrett scored? That's what's going through your head. Instead of saying, the last time we were in this position, we were getting beaten. We were not able to win these tight matches. So I think experience of winning and winning tough, tight matches and matches that matter. Like last year's round robin game that Cork played Limerick in, that mattered because if they lost or drew that, they were gone. And it went to the very end. The semi-final, and everyone was saying that, listen, they had shown their hand with the long buck outs. Limerick won't be caught again. Kilnirk will have his game plans, and they won that again. And suddenly then you're wondering where they, had Limerick figured out then 2 weeks ago, and they turned up today. And how did they win? I felt myself the full forward line were under pressure. They had to kind of dog in all day long. There was ball going in when they had a Gael force in the first half, but they weren't getting much exchange out of the Limerick full back line. So the Shane Barrett goal was crucial.
Yeah, the first half we were looking at it, a 4-point lead. They were wasteful. There was a lot of ball going over the end line. There wasn't ball sticking into Hayes and Connolly and Horgan inside. But they stayed with Limerick in the second half, and they had big scores.
Yeah, and you see, I suppose the way the game was being going, we had spoken a lot about Cork. What was the difference in Cork this year? Their tackling was ferocious and starting the lead. Probably went away a couple of weeks ago against Limerick. That was back today. And they're in full celebration mode just now.
Yeah, you've got a couple of the brothers down from Tullaroan. They're experiencing their first Munster final.
Yeah.
Will they be dancing the Freed from Desire at the minute?
I don't think so. I'm looking over there. I'd say they're gone home. But,
what did you make of today as an occasion in general?
Look, I suppose what you always have to remember is, Tommy, is we're Leinster people. So the first thing and foremost, we're so proud of Leinster Champions. We're proud of Leinster teams and Leinster finals and all the games down Wexford and Chadwick's Wexford Park, Dublin and Parnell Park, playing Galway and Pearse Stadium and Antrim up in Corrigan. Like, we love them games, absolutely. So sometimes they battle. Look at the scenes here. What we reckon happens in Munster and why Munster games are so exciting is the crowds, because they're in smaller grounds. They're all rivals, they're all derbies, the Leinster games aren't so much derbies. They're all right beside each other. There's history, there's tradition there, and it probably brings out the best in them all. You're down in Ennis, you're in Walsh Park. These small grounds fills them up with 10 or 12,000 people, and that's what makes them so special. And then it's the history. Like, I love reading about these games. I love learning about it, watching the YouTube clips, listening to me all of my hurting, reciting, lovely poetic stuff about the games. And all week I'm reading about Christy Ring, Jack Lynch, reading about Mick Mackey back in the 30s, and that great team. Reading about John Fenton, John Fenton's goal. I used to love, in the early 90s, watching John Fitzgibbon, other Glen Rovers, man. Just, you had a bit of flair about them, a beautiful Ross McCarthy. Mark, the centre forward there, the dentist, surname escapes me there now, but Sober scored 3 goals in one of them. And they were magical games. Then they had the Clare team that came on in 95. I was there before that, 93-94, when they won one match. I think they met Cork, won the big names, and it was sensational news coming back to Kilkenny, but then got beaten badly in Munster finals. And then suddenly, the third year, 95, Loughnane comes in and, we're going to do it.
Well, look, we're at the Leinster final tomorrow in Croke Park for Off the Ball, so we'll be keeping an eye on Kilkenny and Galway. Does it feel like this is part 2 of a 3-piece?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. No, it can happen. But I definitely think we go from Tipperary. We've seen the stats going around the last couple of days. They're on top of the Roll of Honour in the last 10 years of minor and 21 and senior. They're on a high. They've lost very little finals. And young lads coming through, Cal's, has him where he wants him. Got into a quarter final, you have Kilkenny and Galway then, proud and have been there and won All Ireland. So I think the Leinster teams in Tipperary will have a lot to say about. And and the best of luck to the Joe McDonagh Cup final tomorrow. A great friend of mine, Brian Dowling, staunch hurling man. He's over Kildare. Kildare doing huge work. We've seen in Ace. They're up in Kilkenny playing league games under 14, 16 minor the whole time. Brilliant work all up there. Tom O'Lally's up there in Ace. The club scene have had huge victories in the club Leinster Club Championship, and Laois, lovely Laois, and Rathdowney, Earl and Poor Laois and all these great clubs, and hopefully that'll be a cracker as well, because Joe McDonagh Cup finals have been brilliant in the last couple of years.
That'll be a great day tomorrow in Croke Park. Last one, Tommy Walsh. It's 2018 was the last time Seamus Harnedy captained Cork to the Munster title. This one, it was an epic. It had everything. I don't know if it was. I think maybe there was wides. It was tense. There was drama. There was fellas falling all over the place. It was 130 to 227 at the end of extra time. It was 3-2 after penalties. Have you a bit of a soft spot for Cork, having gone to college down there? Does that exist in a Kilkenny man like yourself?
Is this the camera? No. It's not that. I have a soft spot for teams and players. Yes. You know what I mean? I kind of, when you see these lovely stories and that, the underdog. I think we all love the underdog. So, like when an underdog wins, you'll be happy for him, and suddenly if they win 2 or 3, you're like hoping to get bet. I think that's a natural thing. So, the only soft spot I have is for Kilkenny and Kilkenny, teams as regards that goes. But I've no problem. Like people that love the game, and Cork is a rich hurling county. I was down in college down there in UCC, a lot to the likes Granger and Paddy Crowley, from Micros. Just great hurling people. Poor old Paul Oak, great in a Piercing man over the years. Bertie Oak from Sarsfields, John Considine. Like they're all brilliant lads that were there in UCC with me. Amo, he went on and had a great career training Eamon Ryan training the Cork ladies footballer. So brilliant people, and I wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
They'll enjoy this one. They're straight into an All-Ireland semi-final. I'm looking forward to getting down and hearing from John Kiley and Pat Ryan. We get a bit of reaction from the players as well. Tommy Walsh, I'll see you in Croke Park tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for covering the Munster final with me today. Very much enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you soon on Off the Ball.
Thanks, Tommy.